Daylight tries to spook you out, but this old dog really needed some new tricks. This first-person survival game is bogged down by poor writing and endless cliches. You might be startled a few times, but you can only see so many drawers fly out of bureaus before you know when and where the so-called surprises will occur.
Full of so many surprises, Sarah.
Daylight is procedurally generated, but it's no less predictable than a typical linear adventure. It just recycles the same basic frights in different places, turning the initial scares into tepid shrugs. You could think of Daylight as a combination of Slender: The Arrival and Outlast. The Slender comparison comes from how you must escape each area without coming face to face with ghostly stalkers. The Outlast connection is the setting, which focuses on a now-defunct asylum where terrible events once occurred. You move through each major region as a young woman named Sarah, mapping progress on the cell phone you're always holding. You come across memos, personal diaries, and other written remnants of the past. Collect enough of these remnants, and you may proceed to the next stage of your journey. There's a story to piece together here, a story partially driven by the insidious disembodied voice that accompanies you. It takes several playthroughs for that story to come into better focus, but the silly payoff isn't worth the tedium of getting there.
Quiet. So quiet. All I ever wanted, all I ever needed.
Given the bad dialogue, it's tempting to presume that Daylight is aiming for B-movie appeal, but the game isn't bad in the good way, it's just bad. Life is but a butterfly's dream, remarks your unseen guide, doing his best to make silly nonsense sound like a deep thought. Sarah says out of the blue you can't escape destiny, proving that she's watched plenty of movies, but adding nothing to the story she's actually a part of. By the time a newspaper clipping raises the possibility that a construction project was built on a Native American burial ground, you can only laugh. Daylight borrows all sorts of ideas but does nothing to enhance them, like a discount Halloween Scary Sounds CD. There are some nice atmospheric touches, like the rapid flutter you hear when a pursuing witch approaches. When your pursuer draws close, you can burn away her presence with a flare, which leads to a few decent frights as you quickly reach for your flare button. But such details are overshadowed by Daylight's bizarre randomness and dated visuals. Sarah will scream in response to nothing at all, or comment on events in ways that make absolutely no sense. The game's most interesting facet is the way it allows you to connect the game to your Twitch TV channel, but that feature only contributes to the sense of sloppiness. Viewers can type keywords into the chat window and trigger a few scares of their own in the game. Hearing a panicked cry because somebody in your channel typed "scream" is a curiosity, but only a curiosity. Who is it that's screaming, and what exactly is she afraid of? Daylight doesn't care. Screams are scary, and that's all that matters. Take Daylight's claims to procedural generation with a grain of salt. While the corridor mazes change somewhat from one playthrough to the next, layouts remain consistent enough that you can easily rush through them when making return visits. And yes indeed, Daylight lets you sprint at full speed all the time, which destroys any sense of tension. Given its procedural generation and Twitch integration, Daylight seems to invite multiple playthroughs. The irony here is that it isn't worth playing through even once.